From whatever screen you watch me from to even your airways, welcome back to a brand new episode on Princess Coded the Podcast, a place that prides in intimate conversations surely to make you feel like royalty. I am your host, Amaya Kai, and first off, can I just say thank you, because these past two episodes that I released, a part of the pilot, y'all did y'all thing. I am still answering a lot of text messages, calls. When I tell y'all, the outpour of love has been so massive and also surprising to me because in a way, I've never really been able to feel like I have a place in terms of doing something that I've always dreamed about. But one thing that I've learned, especially in this month that we're in right now, is that when God got something for you, He gonna tell you. And the fact that podcasting is where I am meant to be is really just a big blessing. So I want to give y'all not only a thank you, but I want to give y'all an applause, okay? The reason why I'm pausing is because I'm still in such a shock. I never expected to be received in that way, in terms of how not only the way I spoke, but how I reached out to people, especially when they told me a lot of good things. And I also want to thank God, of course, because He really instilled a lot and He removed so much fear out of me. It was truly insane. But first off, y'all, before we get into this episode, I just want to say, by the time that you might be listening or watching this, it's going to be New Year's Eve. So Happy New Year in advance. I know 2023 was a hellhole. Let's just put it out there. It was. I don't know if it was just for me or if it was just for everybody else around me. 2023 started off strong. And then, but then, it just... Y'all, I just laugh and disbelieve because I'm like, how did I get here? Okay. But I want to take this moment for us to breathe in and let out all the toxins of 2023. Because I'm a firm believer in when you let go and let God have His way, you gonna be straight. All right, so without further ado, let's take this breath. Y'all can scream, y'all can cry. Just don't break none in your house, okay? Okay. I had to do two. I had to do me a good little two breaths, y'all. If I did explain how this year went, we would be here for an eternity. Because I would have went in a long order. And I know y'all not here for that. But I could do a little year in review. But behind the scene video. But you know what? I ain't gonna spoil y'all that much. Let's get into the episode. So with this being a new year that we are about to embark on, this episode was not only just fun looking at, but my perspective on this has really changed. And I am talking about the global phenomenon that is vision/prayer boards. Y'all know they added notebooks now. I sound like my auntie. I laugh like an auntie. Oh gosh, y'all about to bully me down. But it's okay. For those who do not know what these things are, a vision or a prayer board, or even just a notebook now, is just something that you plan before the new year upcoming. And you just either put down pictures, you write down things, or you even write down the prayers that you want to have fulfilled into the next year. And as somebody who has never really made one until, I want to say, July of this year, I never really knew how much those things actually work. Okay? I've never been a big fan of planning out what I want to do, unless if it was schoolwork. But there's a certain beauty about letting God into your plans. Now watch this, right? I was scrolling on TikTok and I'm trying to go figure out ideas for my prayer board because I want to make sure I make it before the new year, y'all. I came across a TikTok that said, do not tell everybody your plans for 2024. Which brings us into today's title, Beauty of Silent Dreams. The reason why I named this episode this was because it's really just a way to understand when you have silence in a lot of moments where you're planning along with God being the center of those plans. It's really just a beautiful thing. And of course, me being the type of person where I felt like it can be difficult to keep a lot of things to yourself because sometimes, and I will be honest with y'all, I kind of need people around me to help me because I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I am not the best when it comes to keeping my plans afloat. I am not the best at keeping quiet. I wouldn't even tell y'all a story. Now, I ain't no chatterbox, but I do what I do, and I'm ashamed of it. So, in this way, when it comes to creating your vision board and prayer board, this person said a lot of different things that kind of opened my eyes. And if I look at it, like I said, it was hard taking that video in because I was like, well, who else I'm going to tell? And now that I'm in the space of understanding that when God wants to be a part of the plan and you have to be able to heed what he's saying in silence, which is why I said in silence, my soul kind of felt like, okay, you need to hear this. And the video was displaying a way of bullet points for us to understand what was exactly going on. And I decided to dissect it a little bit for you all. So not only myself can remember, but you guys can remember it as well. And for those who are watching the visual version of this, I am trying to get the permission from the person if I can put the video in here because I don't want to get sued for content like that. So I'm making sure before 2024, I ain't got no money to pay to the government or Uncle Sam. But that's another discussion. The first 2 points of this video said, don't tell everyone what your plans are for 2024. Don't make any pre-announcements. We can automatically say that she is suggesting that we shouldn't share our plans with those around us, regardless of who they are. Because what I've realized in the many years of my life, there are people who may be for you, or they might be there for you for a season, but then when they start seeing you become who you're called to be, they start turning on you and becoming who they are. And that's why I always seen myself underqualified, unfortunately, and feeling like I don't have a space, man. And unfortunately, that's really just the biggest thing that I have had trouble addressing until now at my age. At first, it wasn't really noticeable because I let a lot of people come into my ear. Now, I don't know if I had some 90s folks on here. Y'all know that book, Animorphs, with the Yerks? I don't think I should have said that. Oops. Sorry to the author if you watch this. I don't know, but hey. I'm going to just tell y'all the plot without telling y'all the characters. So, it's a little slug, right? And it go into your ear and it start controlling you. It was kind of like that. I felt like something was crawling into me and feeding me something, saying, oh, you can't do it. You ain't got the qualifications. You can't do this. You can't do that. But at the same time, y'all, I am very ambitious, okay? I feel like I'm going to go get to it no matter what. I've always been called stubborn because I don't let up. And that's okay. But at the same time, I feel like if I didn't let up and let God handle it, I would have been in a deeper hellhole. And with that being said, I started to get into a state of expectancy for God to answer something in a quick way. But as I was in a season where God and I were two different people, okay? God is still the same, but I was not. So something was teeter-tottering at me, but it took me a while to get back to that. And to my surprise, I was idolizing a lot of goals that I was putting forth. And the fact that I was not really letting God intertwine and collaborate with me in these goals, it made me no longer want to let go of the things that I had to lose, for lack of a better word, to obtain and live in those goals that God has for me. And the reason why I say that is because me as a being today, I feel like I pour so much of myself into these goals. I don't let anybody else come in for me because I understand what it means to have help but not want it, because I don't want anybody worrying about me. I didn't want anybody telling me that I couldn't do it. But y'all know that God is not like man. When I tell you, he sat down and he humbled me for months on end, it was an experience. And like I said previously, God will make an example out of you, whether you are knowing of it or whether you're just going about your day. And that's the big thing about God that I'm learning now. When he's humbling you, there is something that he wants you to tweak. So then when he moves you into the next season, you are fully prepared. Which goes into the next point. It's simply saying that when we go to the second bullet point, just keep showing up and knock out your goals. This is simply saying that you have to be able to sow the correct amount into what goals God has for you as you are creating your vision or your prayer board. Because another crazy thing, and I'm going to let y'all in on this, right? And this was very crazy when I started thinking about it and how God said it to me. We tend to think that we know what's best for us. And if there's anybody who knows the story of Icarus, we kind of fly so close to that goal and we think we're about to obtain it. But then you fall. You take a heavy fall and you end up back in square one, or even worse. Icarus' fate was that he died. We're not going to put that on ourselves, so we rebuke that. I am sounding like an auntie, y'all. I am sounding like somebody auntie. But the reason being is that sometimes we don't truly surrender to God. And the things that we should be surrendering to him is, now this part right here, y'all, is crazy. Sometimes we kind of lust over goals, not in the way of lusting in love, but lusting in how we kind of crave goals that we set for ourselves. And also we have annoying greed. So the 7 deadly sins plays a lot into this, because we have lust and greed coming into our mind saying, oh, I want this. But at the same time, a lot of the goals that we tend to make comes with money. And I'm going to be honest with myself. As a college student, y'all, I don't want to be broke. I don't. But at the same time, money shouldn't really be the only thing on our minds. And in our heads, it's saying no matter what happens, I'm going to go get to it. And at the end goal, there's money. But at the same time, we have to realize that at the end goal, we have to always give glory back to God. Don't forget about God, especially in that, because there is a verse in the Bible that comes from Luke 14, 28 through 30. And when I tell y'all, I wasn't really expecting to hear a verse like this in this way. Let me tell y'all. For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. I'm just sit with this for a second, right? And when I tell you, this verse humbled me so bad, it really did, because it is simply saying without God being the firm foundation into what we want to do with him, we are bound to see our plans crumble, whether it's slowly or quickly. Those plans will crumble because he is not in the center. It should not only go for our relationships, people, family, friends. It should go for everything we do in life, because everything is intended for a season and it is intended for a way for us to obtain it. We just have to take what is for the fruition that we are to put out and let God approve. Because I'm going to give y'all an example, right? Y'all know when it's tax season. By the way, y'all, tax season coming up. I ain't got no taxes. But I'm going to just give y'all an analogy. Y'all know when tax season coming up and you fill out them papers, and now I might be wrong, y'all. Do they go in and approve it? I think the tax person approves the taxes and see if it's correct. It's kind of like that. God is kind of doing our taxes, well, our goals that we send to him, and he can look at it and be like, okay, you gonna handle that? I don't know. We just gonna put that off next year. Okay, you want kids. You want a boyfriend. Okay, let me put you through this so that you're ready for it. And taking everything that was said to heart, create every vision with a purpose, okay? And also be intentional with your goals. Be intentional in everything that is to come. And with the last part of this TikTok, it says celebrate when you are ready and repeat. So that is basically saying when God is giving you the green light to celebrate, but also, as I said previously, give glory back to God and also share your testimony, because a lot of people will not know what it looks like to be in that season that they're approaching if you do not open your mouth. Here's another thing that I seen on TikTok. By the way, y'all, I say this, and I'm sad I'm saying it. I'm a TikTok addict. I really am. I be on TikTok, and that's another thing. That'd be another thing too, y'all. Somebody said 2024 is the year of the open mouth. Not like that. For y'all little freaky people, don't think like that. It's not that big. Okay. It's basically saying that 2024 is a year that we start praising before it happens. And I feel like it really can tie into a lot of the things that we want to do, because you have to praise God before he puts you in that situation. Don't soak in a lot of the deep holes that you put into yourself, because you will not only learn that you have to praise in the midst of the storm. You could talk to your storm, but we're not going to go into that. I feel like I'm preaching like my uncle, y'all. But I'm going to tell y'all this. Take everything with a grain of salt and do what you will. Because when God is going to intercede on your behalf, when he speaks unto us on our behalf, which is a crazy thing. I never knew that God prays over his kids. I never knew that he can intervene, he can fix, and that's the crazy thing as well. The reason why a lot of the goals that we tend to achieve or we wish to achieve do not work is because along with the foundation, we don't have a relationship with God. So with that being the basis of what I'm talking about right now, it's basically saying that you have to not only evaluate who God is in your life, you need to see him more as a best friend, a bigger role of a father figure, because God is really the type of person that knew you before he put you out into the world, right? Before he assigned you with those who are to be in your life. God really writes our plans for a reason. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans for good and not for evil, plans to prosper you and give you a good future. And that is why this goes back into the idea of a vision or a prayer board. We have to be willing to, in order to see the fruition that God wants for us, we have to involve him. We have to start writing verses that back up the vision. Because if you do not have your word ingrained in your mind, ingrained in those goals, the foundation will begin to crack. This might have been tough for anybody, especially myself, but I encourage everybody in this new year to pray and plan accordingly to the season that you are called to experience. Because you could be planning for something in the future, but God said, you need to look at where you are right now. Let me tell y'all this. That does not mean you cannot achieve what you want in that season with what you put on that prayer board, on that vision board, on that prayer board. I said prayer board twice, but I don't care, y'all. Y'all gonna get my point. We have to understand that there are seasons and there are times for everything. When God says it is your time to experience that season, when it's your time to experience it at the fullest, you must be able to not only apply your relationship with God, tend to it, and also most importantly, apply the fruits of the Spirit and let the Holy Spirit breathe life into it. When I tell y'all, your prescription on life will change. Y'all, I said prescription. Be quiet. Y'all know what I meant. Y'all have to understand. Once you let God work on you on the things that are not allowed in your next season, in the season that you're in, you will be able to experience it at the fruition that it is. And as I end this episode, y'all can plan the vision boards. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. Just be able to take what I said and let God understand that you're willing to hear from him and just collaborate, because God is a miracle worker in everything that he does. And he has the greatest intentions. And once you do that, your year gonna be amazing. So we gonna take a breath again, because I know this was a lot. It was a lot for me, because I'm still learning how to take in things that could be seen as good, but I'm learning how to apply God to everything. And although it might seem as if that's difficult, it's okay. All right. 2 more breaths, y'all. Y'all can scream again. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. All right. 1, 2, 3. I have to do one more, y'all. But as always, thank you all for listening, watching, and most importantly, putting in the input that was with this episode. And I meant to put this in the last episode that I recorded. I actually have a feature where I am able to answer voice messages on the show in real time. I'm trying to figure out how to actually make a live episode. I'm going to put that in existence. I will have a live show one day, and I will actually talk to my audience in real time, because I actually do want to hear what y'all have to say to me. And that might actually be a nice little segment into the podcast. I'm receiving and receiving it. I'm interceding and praying for it. And I'm claiming it right now. We're going to have a live show. We're going to have an opportunity to talk and also create a space where everybody can vent, because I'm here to reinvent what it means to have a podcast, especially as a young African-American female. And I want to make sure my people straight with everything that I say along with myself, because we're definitely here for a reason. We're definitely in this space together to not only learn about what God has for us, but just have fun, because that is what I truly want to do. And In 2024, y'all not ready, okay? I'm just letting y'all know. I'm letting y'all off with, y'all know the mornings with the tickets that you be parking? I'm giving y'all a parking ticket. Y'all not ready for 2024. So, don't forget to not only watch and listen to all of the episodes on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube for the visual aspect, y'all. Also, in 24 hours from when I record this, Amazon Music and Audible will have Princess Cody. So, I'll make sure everybody get, a fair chance to hear what I have to say and also just enjoy the space that we've created together. And most importantly, follow this podcast on all social media platforms. Yes, y'all, Auntie got Twitter today. We will be under the name Princess Cody Podcast. And also, if you want to get to know about me more, follow all of my personals at the.amayakai. And as always, I am the host, the HPIC Amayakai, and I'll see you guys back at the palace. And also, most importantly, free all countries that is going through ethnic cleansing or a genocide. Let's start supporting those who are truly in the means of the cause of supporting these countries. And also, let's donate, y'all. Let's kind of bless somebody else's life, because we got to be able to realize that it could have been us in those situations. So let's do something greater than ourselves and support all of those countries. I love y'all. See y'all in the next episode.